All right, today, I don't know, it's just random. I was thinking, like, bro, what would happen? Because Trump be out here tripping. What would happen if somebody said, F it, another country, that is, said, F it, we're going to invade America, just take over? Trump taught big boy. Like, are we able to sustain that? Uh, or is our defense like that? I don't know. So anyhow, I thought about it, so I just typed it in on YouTube. And what do you know? I got a video for us. Let's check it out. And one more thing, man, we almost at 500 subscribers, man. Hit that subscribe button for me. Hit the notification button, the bell, just so you know when I post. And then also, make sure you leave comments. Let me know. You like the material? You like what do you want to see more of? What did you enjoy out of everything you see on the page? What do you enjoy? Let me know. 2026, we locking in, man. We turning it up. Let me know, though, what y'all like. Let's get going.
Except one. No army in history, not even today's most advanced, could survive invading the United States. In the next few minutes, we'll uncover the hidden geography, economics, and firepower that make America the world's ultimate fortress, and reveal why any invasion attempt would collapse long before reaching its.
This almost seemed like a video from like back in the day when you was in social studies or World Civ. It's remind me of that, but as you get older, you kind of more interesting now. I got time.
Shores. Quick question. If every nation on Earth way is simple, before any army reaches the gates, the terrain itself has already chosen sides. What makes an invasion work? Every successful invasion in history shares three ingredients: surprise, supply, and foothold. Napoleon had them in 1805. The Allies mastered them in 1944. Lose even one, and the campaign collapses. The problem for any power targeting the United States is that all three dissolve instantly. Modern surveillance kills surprise. 2 ocean distance wrecks supply. And securing a foothold? Nearly impossible against layered missile defenses and rapid deployment forces. Military theory meets a dead end here. Invasion isn't just unlikely, it's logistically absurd. Lesson learned: when a nation's geography nullifies strategy, victory isn't denied, it's pre-deleted. The Oceanic Shield. 2 massive barriers, the Atlantic and the Pacific, form walls of salt water that no modern military can cross unnoticed. The Atlantic stretches 3,000 miles from Europe, the Pacific doubles that distance to Asia. Every extra mile means more fuel, more supply ships, and greater.
3,000 miles, you got to think about that. 5,000 miles, they said the Pacific itself, 5,000 miles to reach land, that's a defense in itself. You got to get across the damn waters first to even start a war. Well, to get close to land to invade something, to take over something, they got to cross 5,000. Now, we ain't saying that ain't possible either. But it's a lot to go into getting battleships and submarines, fighter jets, 5,000 miles across water to even engage on. Man, sheesh.
Your vulnerability. In naval way is simple. Before any army reaches the gates, the terrain itself has already chosen sides. What makes an invasion work?
Right.
Every successful invasion in history shares three ingredients: surprise, supply, and foothold. Napoleon had them in 1805. The Allies mastered them in 1944. Lose even one, and the campaign collapses. The problem for any power targeting the United States is that all three dissolve instantly. Modern surveillance kills surprise. 2 ocean distance wrecks supply.
Modern surveillance
and securing
surprise.
A foothold,
so you ain't flying drones
nearly impossible against layered missile
away.
defenses and
be
rapid
knocking them
deployment
things down.
forces.
It's
Military theory meets a dead end here. Invasion isn't just unlikely, it's logistically absurd. Lesson learned: when a nation's geography nullifies strategy, victory isn't denied, it's pre-deleted. The Oceanic Shield. 2 massive barriers, the Atlantic and the Pacific, form walls of salt water that no modern military can cross unnoticed. The Atlantic stretches 3,000 miles from Europe, the Pacific doubles that distance to Asia.
Damn.
Every extra mile means more fuel, more supply ships, and greater vulnerability. In naval warfare, distance is the deadliest enemy. Crossing these oceans to invade America would be like storming a fortress whose drawbridge never lowers. Any hostile fleet would be detected by radar, satellites, and patrol aircraft.
A fortress that's drawbridge never lowers. So it's just a steady fucking task of getting nowhere. It sounds like if the fortress that it never lowers. Like it's just a constant battle, constant crawl, just going and going. I get that's what I take away from that. Like, okay, whatever, we'll see.
Long before landfall. That's not defense by luck, it's defense by design. Why D-Day would fail today? When the Allies stormed Normandy in 1944, they crossed just 100 miles of
so
water.
Pretty much, there's so many
still
obstacles you have
ships,
to overcome.
156,000 troops.
Once you
and
get
months
here,
of planning.
You still
now
got
imagine multiplying that by
and
30 to 50 times.
You're on our territory.
With
it's
no
over.
friendly base nearby.
Hey.
Even the largest navy today couldn't maintain communication, supply.
Actually, glad this came to my mind today while I was just sitting around. Got the day off. Glad this came to my mind. I've been thinking about it randomly just since we've had our president in office. You know, what if he triggers the wrong person and they just say, F it, we're going all in. Doesn't seem like they would have much of a chance. Therefore, probably why they're not saying F it, we're going all in. Just my guess. I don't know.
And secrecy across 3,000 miles of open ocean. D-Day succeeded because it was close, concentrated, and supported. Mm-hmm. An American invasion would be distant, dispersed, and doomed. History repeats itself, but only when geography allows it. The neighbors aren't neutral. Could an enemy march through Canada or Mexico? Not without starting a global crisis. Canada is a NATO member. Attack it, and you attack 30 nations. Damn. Mexico depends on U.S. trade and military coordination that quietly reinforce both borders. Any attempt to coerce or occupy their neighbor would ignite U.S. response before a single tank crossed the line. It's not just proximity, it's partnership. Geography may build walls, but diplomacy fills the gaps. Together, they seal the continent.
Learn something.
Northern route nightmare. Marching south from Canada looks easy on a map, until you meet the land itself. The Canadian Shield is a vast stretch of granite, lakes, and forests that swallow logistics whole. Roads vanish, weather turns brutal, and the terrain gives defenders endless cover. Even if forces reach the Great Lakes, the U.S. could cut their supply lines with a handful of strategic choke points like Thunder Bay or Winnipeg. Nature becomes the first line of defense.
It's crazy. It seems like this stuff is already planned out as far as defense-wise. If this were to happen, this is what we do. And I guess that's what you got to do as a nation. But, man, people are sitting at home in front of a computer. Don't have to worry about that. Don't think about this. Man, what a beautiful country we live in.
For invaders, it's not a path, it's a trap. Southern route standoff. Heading north from Mexico, invaders would meet deserts, canyons, and heat strong enough to melt machinery. The U.S. Mexico border already hosts advanced surveillance systems and thousands of troops trained for rapid deployment. Every armored column would appear on satellites before it crossed a single dune. Even small-scale incursions would face drones and precision strikes within hours. The Sonoran and Chihuahuan deserts don't just slow armies, they stop them. The land itself enforces the border. America's natural choke points. Suppose an enemy somehow makes landfall. Their next opponent isn't soldiers, it's geography. The Rocky Mountains slice the West into narrow corridors perfect for ambushes. The Mississippi River divides the nation into regions that demand risky crossings under fire. Every range, river, and canyon acts as a ready-made fortress. History proves it. Battles from Antietam to Fredericksburg showed how rivers...
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you would think other countries have the same kind of terrain, and they probably do. It's just other countries aren't as large, I guess, that we'd be talking about trying to invade the United States. Like, countries you would think if we ever came into crisis with or had a beef with, sounds like the U.S. is going to whoop ass. Sounds like their countries are too small, not enough terrain, not enough water. Seems we're familiar with all those things. So for our country, not an issue. For other countries, it seems like maybe they are not knowing how to maneuver through all these things. And at the same time, it gives the U.S. enough time to realize, okay, there's a breach in our damn security somewhere, or whatever they would say. But yeah, it just gives you time to prepare. Therefore, the mountains, those waterways, those are your defense, because those low key slowing the enemy down, giving you more time to prep. And if you don't already know, they on their way. So it's just, man, very strategic, as we learn here today, class.
Rivers alone can decide wars. In modern warfare, those barriers are reinforced by satellites, artillery. The way is simple. Before any army reaches the gates, the terrain itself has already chosen sides. What makes an invasion work? Every successful invasion in history shares three ingredients: surprise, supply, and foothold. Dry, from the Soviets in Afghanistan to modern insurgencies worldwide. In America, that resistance is already pre-armed and culturally primed. You can win a battle, but not a neighborhood. Lessons from Afghanistan and Iraq. The world's most advanced military spent 2 decades fighting insurgencies in nations a fraction the size of the US. Despite total air dominance and technology, even America struggled to maintain control. Now flip that scenario. An invader facing 330 million civilians, many armed, spread across 50 states with dense infrastructure. That's not a fight, it's a nightmare. Occupation turns from victory to vulnerability in days. The lesson? You can conquer ground, but not willpower. The tyranny of distance. From Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles spans nearly 2,700 miles, comparable to crossing Europe end to end. Sustaining troops, fuel, and equipment across such vast terrain would stretch any army past breaking. Even advanced supply systems collapse when the front lines move faster than the logistics.
You gotta think about whatever country would try that shit. Pretty much what they're saying here is whatever country would try that. Now you on our soil, in our territory. Just going from fucking Los Angeles to DC is 2,700 miles. 2,700 miles. You know how many fucking states that you across that have military and active military and count, like, what? You ain't gonna make it where what your goal is. You ain't gonna make it. You're crossing too many paths, too many states. That's what he just said. 50 states with a multitude of just people with guns, pretty much. Military, but they said people with guns. Yeah, there's a lot of people here with guns, and imagine going state to state and you got people here that ain't even military, they ain't law enforcement. But if you was to come in their backyard with the bullshit, what? So, I mean, and it wouldn't just be one person, 2 people, because at this point, we talking about being invaded. You think people ain't getting set up? Man, please. People would have hell. So like they said, by the time you thought you were going to reach your destination, man, you already damn broke. Financially, it just costs too much. By the time you got to wherever you think you're going, you've lost too much money. You've lost too much ammo. Your defense you've lost defenders. The front line ain't the front line no more. So, yeah, this shit crazy. I never thought about this, but again, I'm glad I've hit the button to listen. I'm glad I thought about this today. And anybody that has more knowledge, especially if you're military, just please drop a comment. I want to know more. Like, I'm interested. Tell me some stuff. Leave some links. We can do some more vids, but yeah, I like this type of stuff.
Behind them. Every mile adds cost, delay, and risk. For defenders, that distance buys time. For invaders, it burns resources. Strategy's oldest enemy isn't firepower, it's geography. The scale equation. The United States covers 3.7 million square miles, nearly the size of Europe. Holding even a fraction of it would require millions of troops and astronomical funding. The Allies struggled to liberate Western Europe. An invader would need twice that just to survive in America. Every city is a fortress, every highway a supply drain. The math alone defeats the mission. Scale isn't just a number, it's a weapon. The economics of occupation. Even if an invader somehow conquered a portion of the US, holding it would collapse their economy faster than their army. America spent trillions in Iraq and Afghanistan, on nations a fraction of its own size. Now imagine sustaining that cost against a population of 330 million. Supply, governance, reconstruction, each becomes a bottomless pit. The longer the occupation, the deeper the drain. Military might wins battles, money wins endurance. And in that contest, the invader runs out long before the defender. The nuclear ceiling. Every nation
The U.S. got too much money, baby. That's crazy.
has a limit to what it can risk. For the United States, that ceiling is nuclear. Any invasion that threatens national existence automatically triggers America's nuclear doctrine, the policy that ensures mutual annihilation if the homeland is endangered. With over 1,700 deployed warheads and delivery systems spanning land, air, and sea, there's no conceivable way to attack the U.S. without inviting total destruction. This isn't bravado, it's math. The line between invasion and extinction is one command.
That shit just got so real. That sound real as hell. Like, y'all will F around and cause mass destruction if you want to F around and find out over here. That's wild. No wonder the USA is so cocky. I love it.
Deep. Mutually assured reality. Strategists call it mad, mutually assured destruction, but in practice, it's deterrence perfected. Every major power understands that a full-scale invasion of the U.S. would escalate far beyond conventional warfare. Nuclear retaliation isn't a threat, it's a certainty written into policy. That understanding keeps peace through the fear of total loss. It's the paradox of power: the stronger the defense, the less it needs to act. In the nuclear age, survival depends on the wisdom not to attack. The psychological deterrent. Beyond weapons and walls lies something deeper: belief. The American mindset blends independence with defiance, born from a history of revolution and frontier struggle. Invaders wouldn't just face soldiers, they'd face a national identity that rejects occupation. Every citizen becomes a symbol of resistance. You can't bomb conviction. You can't invade resolve. In military theory, that's the hardest factor to measure, and the most impossible to defeat. The unseen fortress. America's ultimate defense isn't its arsenal, it's its integration. Allies, technology, geography, and economy interlock into a self-reinforcing system that deters war before it begins. Cyber networks warn, satellites watch, treaties bind. The result is a country protected not by walls, but by connections too vast to breach. The fortress isn't just physical, it's systemic. That's the invisible architecture no army can storm. Every empire builds defenses, walls of stone, fleets of steel, or networks of code. The United States combines all three. Oceans for moats. Citizens for sentinels. Technology for armor. It's not arrogance, it's arithmetic. The numbers, terrain, and physics all agree no invasion could survive the attempt.
So safe.
Because sometimes, the greatest weapon of all is impossibility itself.
No, I'm not gonna say
Next
that.
episode, how...
I'm not going to say that. I was about to be a little silly. But anyhow, tell me what y'all think, especially military. Y'all know this stuff. Y'all been trained for certain things. I mean, drop comment. Give us some knowledge. But anyway, until next time, like, share, subscribe. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. We're on the way to 500. Please hit the subscribe button now. Peace.